So this is my DIY rendition of a 45-degree Enlightened equipment revelation. It's 58 inches wide at the top, goes down to 46 inches. I think so far the hardest part has been just laying it out. I've sewn a forest green that I got from Ripstop by the Roll with a pretty crazy orange blaze. It's 81 inches long, but I'm going to cut, or I'm going to take care of the seams and then the channels on the bottom, so it should be 78 when all is done. Here you can see I've put the baffles on. I cut 1.5" no-seam mesh and gave a 1/4 inch seam allowance to put the baffles in. I taped this entire thing with the design so that I could just follow along the tape. And it's coming along pretty well. It should be inch baffles. I'm going to fill it up with about 7 ounces of 800 fill power down and go from there. This is the bottom side. This is pretty much what it looked like before I started making any sewing. What I had to do, just so that I know where I was sewing, was I made little arrows so I'd know what side to do it. And so what I'm going to do is just run a rolled hem along this side and then start taking care of the baffles right to left. Now, I accidentally put the tape on the matte side, so I've got to flip it around because you should have shiny side and shiny side together. But with this fabric, which is just 1.1 nylon, I can actually see the tape on the back end. So if you make a stupid mistake, like I did, you should still be able to see it. And I don't want to have to redo the whole thing. So we're going to see how that goes. I found a template on, I think, Hammock Forums, and it stops at 38 inches going straight down. These are about 6 inch. These are 6 inch. The last one's 5 inch, 6 inch baffles. And then it comes up and actually comes up just a little bit up to the middle and then starts its way down. And then it goes 46, 36, 26, or no, 46, 36, 26, 16, and 6 inches all the way up. And then 5 inch baffles, 6 inch, 6 inch, 6 inch, all of them 6 except that 5. So I'm going to start putting those together. Just a rolled hem, and then start sewing the baffles together, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so I got to credit MoniqueWS on hammockforums.com for how to actually get this thing going whenever I start sewing the baffles together, because it's not just a straight baffle. Since they're V-shaped, I started pondering how in the hell am I going to actually sew this without getting stuck. So she told me I need to start from the inside. And I started down the individual line right here. Okay, now you can't see it. And now I've pinned the second V together, and I'm going to start sewing that up. So I know it's dark, but I'll do this V, and then I'll pin this V out, and then pin this V out, and sew on one at a time. So we'll see how things go, and I'll hopefully get done without too many mistakes. FYI, this is a little bit more tedious and difficult than I thought it was going to be. Okay, so all the baffles are done. It's completely baffled over 1 inch. About. I had some tolerances that I allowed. It was, well, it was a little bit more difficult than I had imagined, but by the time I got around to the last line, I figured just pin about every 6 inches, 8 inches, all the way up, and then you can start, and it goes pretty easily. What I'm going to do next time is make it so that the tape is always on the left side, because that makes for a much easier move through the sewing machine. So what I'm going to do next is roll hem everything and then make the channel for the bottom and start to put the down in after that. And what I'll do then, put the channel in, and I'll put 2 foot, before I stuff the down, I'll put 2 foot of Omni tape right about here so I can have an enclosed foot box, a snap button right there. When you come up here, I'll have a couple of tie-offs and stuff for, or maybe some snaps in case I wanted to bring it all the way over, or connect something onto a sleeping pad. But this is essentially for my hammock. Roll this. I'm going to roll hem it, and then what I'm going to do is, before I roll the channel, I'm going to make 2 little sew bars so that I can cut that, and then I'll roll it over, and then I'll be able to put cord locks through here and have the cord lock come out of the middle like an Enlightened equipment. So let's see how that goes, and I'll check back in shortly. Okay, so here it is before I've stuffed it down. Put the channel, the hem along the sides, which I need 3 inches at least of allowance after all said and done because of my mediocre skills here, but I have a draw cord foot box due to it being hemmed, which is not as easy to do as I'd like. Hopefully whenever I get some down in there, that'll help make it so it slips around easier. I don't know, we'll see. This is velcroed all the way up to 2 feet. Just like so. And so, looking pretty good. I'm gonna fill it with down, put a top channel in, and we'll see what the finished product looks like. Okay, so I'm getting ready to fill the down. The channel that I did do initially on the bottom was terrible, so I went ahead and just took 2 inches of sil nylon and hemmed it and attached it to here. So now I can pull this and it completely closes the foot box. Also, tip, don't use masking tape as a guide. Use something else. It's going to take me forever to get all those little bits and pieces taken care of. Sorry about the focus, but anyway, so here we go, filling the down. Okay, 6 ounces of down is in. Minimal mess, wasn't terrible. It has about, 2 inches of loft in some spots, and in some not so much. So what I'm going to do is hem the top, make the channel for the top, finish it out, and then throw it in the dryer with some tennis balls, and hopefully that gets everything set up. So should have the finished product coming up next. So without further ado, here it is. Finished quilt minus just a couple of snaps, and I'm going to put on the ends here along the long edge. But yeah, it's done. It's a little bit about over 20 hours. So I finished it out by taking 2 channels of sil nylon and running it across the top and connecting some draw cord here so that I can pull and cinch it around my shoulders here. But that's it. And I am actually very impressed that I was able to do this. It's not perfect. It's not professional, but it actually ended up being 54 inches. As much as I wanted it to be wide, I couldn't. After all the seam allowances and everything, it ended up being 54, which is fine because it's a spring quilt. I would say it's about 1.75 to 1.5 when the down is distributed. So I'd say it'd get me down to 45 degrees, which is perfect, and nice and warm and toasty at 50, which is exactly what I wanted. Here's a look at it with the foot box in. It's really good loft. I ended up doing 6 ounces of down. And now here with the drawstring at the shoulder. Not many times in my life I get to actually sit back and admire something I've done, but damn, I can't believe I made that. And you know, these things go for $250, $300. I paid from Ripstop by the roll maybe $100 for the materials. So again, it's not professional grade, but for what I want to do, it suits me just fine. So, all right. Check out my other videos, hopefully soon to come. I've got a whole laundry list of things that I want to make. So if you have any questions, just let me know, and thanks a lot.